Later that November, they sat for another long interview with representatives from NICAPS. C.D. Jackson and Robert E. Homan had reviewed the tapes of the initial conversation, and now they wanted to go deeper, trying to pin down details of timing and location. How many hours had the Hills lost exactly? Where was the last place that they can verifiably remember being? It turns out they didn't have a lot of information for either question. Again, the talk turned to hypnosis and the possibility that it could unlock some memories for Betty. The Hills started taking road trips back along the route to the White Mountains whenever they had the time, hoping that they could trigger some memories by it, or at least have some more confidence about where they had first seen the mysterious light which prompted them to pull over. The mystery was continuing to cause stress and agitation for both of them, but their story was still largely a private one. It wasn't until March of 1963, a year and a half later, that they finally spoke publicly. They told a group at their church. It was also through their church that they met Air Force Captain Ben Sweat, who had some experience with hypnosis and eventually referred them to a specialist in Boston who was willing to try to help. Then, in November of 1963, the Hills told their story to a local UFO group in Massachusetts, and this choice, though they didn't know it at the time, was going to turn their quiet search for answers into a public spectacle. In early 1964, they had their first hypnosis session with Dr. Benjamin Simon. Like the interviewers from NICAP, Dr. Simon felt as though the Hills were sincere in their belief in what they had experienced, and that they wouldn't be misleading with their answers. In order to obtain more trustworthy results, he conducted their sessions separately, looking for places where their stories matched or separated. In the 2.5 years since the incident, some of the order of the events and the description of the mysterious figures had changed from Betty's initial dreams and her descriptions of them in her journal. And yet her descriptions and Barney's descriptions were largely consistent with one another. And what does that mean? Does it mean that hypnosis was unlocking buried truth, a more accurate accounting of events than Betty's dreams? Or does it mean that 2 years of a husband and wife talking about the incident had solidified a shared narrative in their deep, long-term memory?